What's up, everyone? I'm here with my MLB Beat the Streak picks for April 3rd, and this is something that I want to do on my channel moving forward. I'm not sure if it's going to be daily yet or not, probably not, but we'll see how this goes. If you're not familiar with MLB Beat the Streak, it is a fantasy game on MLB.com in which the goal is pretty simple, just to pick players who you think are going to get a hit. Anytime that the player does get a hit, you will be rewarded with an additional number on your streak. And the goal is to get to 57 games to beat Joe DiMaggio's hit streak. And if you hit that number, you will be awarded $5.6 million. It's been a thing. It's been around for a while, honestly, but it's a lot more difficult than it sounds. But you can actually see that I've picked two players for today on April 2nd. So they actually have a feature called doubling down. So if I hop on here really quickly and just say I pick Jose Altuve, player's locked. Interesting. A little bit of a glitch there. There we go. And you can see I can double down. So basically what that means is you can just pick two players on the same night. And if one of those players actually doesn't get a hit, even though, say I pick, for my double down player, say I pick Daniel Murphy and I picked Jose Altuve. So say Altuve gets a hit off Felix Hernandez and Murphy goes, 0 for 4 or something against Volquez. Even though Altuve got a hit, my streak will not continue because of Murphy. You also have a mulligan. I'm not going to get too deep into the mulligan system and whatnot. You can look at all this, just go to MLB.com, look up Beat the Streak, and you can look at all the in-depth things. But it's a lot of fun, and I think it's a pretty popular thing. I don't know how many people will actually watch on YouTube, but it's something that I enjoy, playing, and hopefully you guys will like the videos as well. So we can take a look at the leaderboard here for all-time streaks on MLB here, and you can see that 49 is the most. Two people have done 49. One guy was actually last year, so shout out to Terry Sims. A couple guys were in the 48s. You can see right here, this was last season, 47, none. Oh yeah, actually right here. So you can see that some people are getting very, very close recently with all the sabermetrics and things like that. So it's a lot of fun, and hopefully, this can be something that I will do more and more going forward. So I know I've rambled quite a bit at the beginning of the video, but hopefully moving forward, these videos would be very quick, 3 to 4 minutes, maybe even less. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the picks. So obviously, this being the opening day for the majority of teams, we don't have any season stats to go off of, so we don't know who's going to break out. We don't know who's going to fall off right now. So we're really relying on the numbers of past seasons and things along those lines, of course. And you can see right here the guy right on top, and there's a reason he's right there. It's Jose Altuve. He smashes Felix Hernandez for whatever reason, and I'm actually going to play it safe and go with Altuve. So what I actually like to do is not only look at the the starting pitcher that the player is going to be facing, but also look at how they do against the team as a whole. And Altuve actually batted .389 against the Mariners as a whole, and I think that's something that a lot of people probably don't value enough, because obviously the starter, most starters are not going to stay in the game the entire time, unless they're going to go for a complete game or whatever the case is. So, once that starter leaves, you need to see who else is out there in the bullpen that, if these guys can hit them or not. And Altuve obviously has quite a bit of success against the entire Mariners team. It's really early in the season. We don't have a lot of statistical numbers to go off, of course. So, like I said, I'm going to play it safe, go with Altuve. Last season, he was by far the most popular pick in Beat the Streak, and I would be surprised if this season he isn't again. So for the second guy that I'm heavily considering, it's Nolan Arenado. And obviously, none of the Rockies have actually faced Junior Guerrera. So obviously, we don't have any sample size there. But with that said, it's in Miller Park, and it's against the Brewers, obviously. So Arenado smashed the Brewers last season. He actually batted .400 exactly against the Brewers as a whole with over 1,000 OPS. But even better, in Miller Park, which this game is, he actually batted .500 and a 1.621 OPS. So this dude demolishes the Brewers, especially in Miller Park. So I have a good feeling about Nolan Arenado. He's a guy that I like to pick quite a bit. He played in the WBC, so hopefully, he's obviously seen a little bit, maybe more competitive pitching than some of the other players that just played exclusively in spring training have seen. So, hopefully he's ready to go, and I think this is definitely a good spot for him to pick up a knock or two. So if you go down the most popular picks right here in this column, you can actually see you'll find quite a few Nationals. A lot of people are looking at Daniel Murphy, Trey Turner. Of course, people are going to be looking at Bryce Harper because he's poised to have another good season. We'll see, at least a bounce back year. He didn't play so hot last year, but So for me, I'm looking at Adam Eaton as my sleeper pick here. You can see he's 9 for 31 against Edinson Volquez in the past. Nothing spectacular there, but it is his first game with the Nationals here, at least in regular season play, and he batted over nearly 600 actually in Marlins Park last season, so that's definitely intriguing to look at. So as a whole, I'm not usually a player who goes after the way out in left field, no pun intended, player, but if you want to go for that route, Adam Eaton looks like a pretty nice pick to go with. I definitely think that you can't go wrong with going with some of these sleeper guys sometimes, just to mix things up a little bit, especially maybe if you're struggling, maybe getting a healthy streak going. So definitely keep that in mind when moving forward in Beat the Streak. Alright, so in the videos moving forward, I want to take this time now usually to mention my previous picks that I made in the last video that I made. Obviously I haven't made one yet, but I did make 2 picks for today in Kevin Kiermaier and Paul Goldschmidt. Both of those guys were able to get base hits at least, so I will have a 2 streak of tomorrow. I also want to go ahead and toss out a disclaimer just so you know that these picks that I make or these suggestions are not my final picks, if you will, so I may change them, I may not. So if you see me the next day have my streak continued or whatever, because I decided not to go with these guys, just remember they are suggestions, so they are subject to change for myself. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, be sure to leave it a like, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next one. Later.